Hello, welcome to Beauty School. This is Catherine Tatum, Independent Sales Director with Mary Kay out of Tallahassee, Florida. And we have Rebecca Strange running graphics on here, Senior Pink Cadillac Sales Director out of Montgomery, Alabama. And we're glad to be here with you today for Beauty School, where you can continue to learn your tips, tricks, and techniques to have you and your skin looking and feeling its best. All right, so today we're going to talk to you about foundation. So September is foundation month, and today the first foundation that we're going to talk about is our TimeWise 3D foundation. All right, so let me tell you about this little guy. So this came out last year. I want to say it was like March, April, maybe a little bit before that. But so it's been out for about a year and a half. And it comes in 28 shades. It's $25. And it has two formulas. So we have a matte formula and we have a luminous formula. This coverage is a medium to full coverage. It is one of those that you can play with a little bit. And so let me tell you what it does. So this is what I would consider like our most standard liquid foundation is our matte not just the matte, but the TimeWise 3D foundation. All right. So the two different formulas, like I said, we have a matte and we have a luminous. And so the matte is typically for those of you who either want a matte finish or who are more on the combination to oily side of the skin spectrum. And then the luminous is for those of us who have a more normal to dry skin. And so what the difference is the matte is going to keep the oil at bay for 12 hours, and the luminous is going to keep you hydrated and moisturized for 12 hours. So the matte actually has little micro spores in it, which are kind of like little sponges, and it helps absorb the oil to have your skin looking great and keeping that oil controlled for 12 hours. And the luminous actually has jojoba extract in it to keep you moisturized for those 12 hours. So that's the difference between the two. I love our foundation. So whenever I had loved our TimeWise foundation before, but I love this one even more. So let me tell you a couple quick other things about it, and then I'll show you, how to apply it so you can see the coverage level. All right, so you've noticed I said it's the TimeWise 3D. So that means that it has our TimeWise complex in it. So the TimeWise 3D complex, which is that encapsulated resveratrol, the vitamin B3, as well as the age-defying peptide. So you not only are giving your skin the color that's going to even it out, but you're also giving it the skincare that's going to take care of it. And you're have anti-aging on your skin as you wear your foundation. So I love that. All right. So other things about this foundation. Whenever you try this foundation, your consultant's probably going to ask you a couple of questions. Some of those questions are going to be, of course, like what's your skin type as far as, are you oily? Are you combination? Are you dry? We're going to ask you what kind of finish you like. But then we're also going to ask you about how your skin behaves in the sun. And so what that means is whenever you go out in the sun, do you always burn? Do you burn and then tan, or do you always tan? And the reason for that is because we're trying to find your undertone. So we're trying to find whether you have a cool undertone, a neutral undertone, or a warm undertone. So those of you who typically have a cool undertone, like myself, we typically always burn. We typically have a more pink undertone. So those of you who burn and then tan are considered a neutral. So it's just a more neutral. You're not necessarily pink. You're not necessarily yellow or olive. And then those of you who always tan, we call that a warm undertone. So you can either have more of a yellow or olive undertone typically. And so that's a little bit of the difference. The names of the foundations, we have them in ivory, beige, and bronze. We have them in the neutral, the cool, and the warm undertones. And then there's numbers. And so what that means is for mine, just as example, mine is ivory C110. And so that means I'm at the very low end of the cool spectrum in the ivory. So I am very much over here. To give you an example, like the high ivories, I think it goes up to in 160, might be a 180 in there. And then you have your beiges, which start with your 100 and go up to 220, I believe. And then you have your bronzes, which again are going to start at the 100 and then go up to the 200. And so you'll have that letter, the C, the N, or the W, and then the number. And that's going to tell you just how dark. And so that's what the number means is it's a deeper shade. So that is kind of how our foundation works. I'll tell you some other quick facts about this foundation I love. Mary Kay actually surveyed thousands of women. I think they surveyed over 5,000 women, if I remember correctly. And what that means is they took pictures. So we actually did it at one of our company conferences one time. You could go up and they would take pictures of your face. And so how cool is that? That they did this at, their events across the world. Like, how fun is that? And so we love that. And the reason they did that is because it's called IntelliMatch technology. And what it is that way we could get a sampling of the most common skin colors and skin tones. So that way we created the foundations that would best match the most common ones that are found. So we love that. So you have the 28 shades, and you've got it for customized for your skin tone and customized for your skin type as far as combination to oily or normal to dry. All right, so it's a liquid foundation. It is in a squeeze tube, so I like to apply it. You can, of course, apply your foundation with a couple of different ways. You can use your hands. You can use a sponge. You can use a blending sponge. You can also use our liquid foundation brush, which looks like this. You can see that it has, hold on, let me put this down. So you can see that it's slanted. So it's got like it's got a nice tight side on it so the liquid doesn't fall off. And this is mine. It has been cleaned, but you can still see some of it. It's hard. But you can apply it directly to your skin or to the tip of the brush, and then apply with the liquid foundation brush. Or we also have, this is my personal favorite. This is the blending brush. And so it's this guy. So I don't know if you've ever seen this guy before, but whenever it first came out, it was new and new to me. I love it. So it gives you a nice thick airbrush finish is what I like to call it. It's a full coverage. So typically, just real quick before I put it on, typically your hand is going to give a more natural coverage. A sponge is going to give you a very light coverage. And then your brush will give you a little bit heavier than natural. And then the blending brush will give you the fullest coverage. So I will tell you, typically, I will either use my hand or I will use the blending brush. So that's me. It's personal preference. I'm not going to tell you that there's a right or a wrong way. Just make sure that you clean whatever brush or sponge that you're using. So that way you are, you're not putting just bacteria and stuff back on your face. All right. So I just squirted a little bit of the foundation on the blending brush, and we're going to go ahead and put it on. So I already have on my foundation primer. You all have seen this before. That is our foundation primer. It's like liquid silk. It's $20. It's phenomenal. And it has an SPF 15 in it, just so you know. So I think that that's key under any foundation. It doesn't matter what you use, in my opinion. That needs to go on first because everything else will look better. All right. So foundation, here we go. I'm going to just apply it to one side so you can see the difference. So here we go. Doesn't really matter where you start, to be honest with you. You can go wherever. Today, we're going to start at my chin and go up. Sorry, let me move my hair back. And then I'm going to lean in so you can see. So again, Ivory C110. Blend it in. Make sure whenever you're putting your foundation on that you blend in over here by your ears and underneath your chin and your jawline. So that way you don't have that line, because even if you have your correctly matched foundation, if you don't blend it in, you'll have a line, and that's not cute. See right there, you see that line across my nose? Not cute. All right. Imagine if that was on your chin or your cheek. Not fun. All right, the cool thing I love about this brush is you can get all up in here, okay? Get all up in here. I'm gonna need a little bit more. You can see the coverage is actually like phenomenal, y'all. So I'm very fair skinned, as you have learned. And so it, you can see all of my blemishes very easily, or mask rash in this case. And so I like a full coverage if I'm going to put on a foundation. I like a full coverage. Sorry, my little hairs are popping out. Make sure you get your eyes. All right, sorry, this is not going to be cute, but you just got to do this sometimes. All right, I want to blend it so you guys can see. I have blonde hair, so I can blend into my scalp. You can't see it. And then let me get this eye so you all can see. And then you can see the coverage level. Hold on, one more. Just this little corner. All right, that's a little over halfway, but I think you guys get it. Make sure my nose is good. Do you make funny faces when you put on your makeup? I know I do. All right, so check it out. I would say that coverage is pretty phenomenal. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty impressed. Sorry, I'm just blinking a little bit. But you over here, you can't see the redness and the undertone from the mask rash. It's hard to see, you can see like the larger scar that I have right there. But you don't see like any of the other stuff, which I love. It's phenomenal. My eyes look brighter. Your skin looks bright. It's even. You can see that coverage. Like, it's just great. It's so great. So check it out. You can always go back over and spot treat with your foundation, or of course concealer, your personal preference. I'm a concealer girl, just because I like to make sure that it's gonna, be flawless. So that's me, but it's your personal preference. So I love this. Again, you can thicken it. I just wanted you to see like what one coat looked like on a day-to-day basis. If I'm going for like a full coverage, particularly like event makeup or something like that, I'll go back over it another layer. You can also spot treat, totally up to you. I love this. It is a phenomenal coverage, like right off the bat. This is great coverage for most people. So I love it. Love it. It's that medium to full coverage that you can have it as. I know that it's going to keep my skin looking matte all day. I don't have to like super dab or blot or worry about it falling off. That never happens. So I love that about our foundation, that it does a phenomenal job. So make sure that you talk to your consultant, ask her to get you matched for your TimeWise 3D foundation, so you can get your Intella match, your perfect match. It's $25, and then hold on, the blending brush is $16, and the liquid foundation brush is $14, so and talk to her so that way she can get you taken care of, get you matched, and try out the TimeWise 3D liquid foundation for yourself. Keep joining us back every week. We'll see you next week for another foundation here on Beauty School, where you can learn tips, tricks, and techniques to have you and your skin looking and feeling its best. Bye, ladies. Thanks so much.